The main character tried to get a girlfriend. However, he was rejected again, and his single points was now over 9,000. So, the main character decided to go to the red light district to vent out his stress. Then suddenly, a blonde lady appeared, and she was looking for the main character, because he is the chosen man that will teach her the art of cultured entertainment. The blonde lady have the super truck kun powers, so she use her dimensional magic to teleport the main character to another world. Then the main character was transported into a room. The main character did not question physics, and he thinks that he was just inside a clapping hotel in Japan. Then the blonde lady introduced herself, and she requested the main character to save her. The main character thinks that this was some sort of cult solicitation. However, his simp nature was telling him to help a cute damsel in distress. Then the main character accepted to help the blonde lady. After that, the main character went straight to the main business, and he made her free his kraken from the underground chamber. Then she was amazed with the main character's legendary kraken. The blonde lady unequipped her upper equipment, and it revealed a pair of the great Mount Everest. The main character and the blonde lady united, and they created a hot dog sandwich. Then the main character asked her to do a taste test on the food they created. The blonde lady did the gulp gulp 3000, because it was necessary for her to learn the art of cultured entertainment. Then the main character was constantly advising her to increase her power, so she can drain every man. The blonde lady applied the forbidden knowledge to the main character. So, the main character was not able to hold back his unholy blast, and he gave her a facial skin care therapy. After that, the main character will teach her the pro guide to become an expert in the clapping industry. Then the main character was handling the melons with care, and the blonde lady asked for its purpose. The main character explained that it was to increase her hydration, and her production of underground crystal clear mineral water is the proof of its effectiveness. Then the preparations were now complete, so the main character gave her the clapping ritual. The blonde lady was a beginner, and her system was adapting fast, so she was now enjoying the art of cultural activities. Then the main character decided to travel deeper than Mariana Trench. So, her brain was not braining anymore. The blonde lady was now about to reach the finish line of her journey, so the main character decided to join her. Then they both reach an ultra-explosive finale. The next day, when the main character woke up, he was greeted by the blonde lady. Then she properly introduced herself as a princess of this country, and she told the main character that this was another world. Then she explained that their country was in trouble, and their only way to resolve their problem was to rely on the powers of the legendary demon that was sealed on the castle basement. In exchange for power, that demon just wanted some cultured entertainment from the woman of the royal family, and that's the reason why she needed that main character's cultured knowledge. The blonde lady used her magic crystal ball to cast some magic, and she was able to change a tire based on the main character's desire. Then they apply the WD-40 for a smoother gameplay. The main character was wondering that it may be practical to have some men from this world to teach culture. However, the blonde lady explained that in this world the clapping industry is not a priority, because most of the people are not interested, and they only use magic for multiplication. Then they search for a capable man with tremendous amount of clapping powers, and the blonde lady was able to find the main character. After that conversation, the blonde lady started creating friction on the main character's legendary sword using her underground dungeon. Then the main character was enjoying this technique, and eventually, the blonde lady was able to make the main character create a simultaneous explosion. Suddenly, they were interrupted by the queen through the magic crystal ball. Then the main character was sent to the throne room. The queen saw all the cultured events, and she doesn't recognize the main character's teaching method as legitimate. The main character realized that he messed up. So, he created some excuses that he was teaching the blonde lady some negotiation technique using the clapping ritual. Then he suggested that the queen should personally try his cultured guidance. After that, the main character and the queen went to her royal chamber. Then the main character used a shaking device on her sacred sanctuary, and the queen created the majestic fountain of glittering gold. The main character grabbed the front yard melons, and he was guessing that the queen was actually jealous of the princess receiving his special guidance. Then the queen denied his assumptions. After that, the main character and the queen have a regular private meeting, and this time, the main character will punish the forbidden back door. Then he will use a special device for tunneling her forbidden area 51. The main character used the special device, and he started her backdoor drilling operation. In addition, the main character activated the device for an extra shaking effect. Then the main character's legendary sword joined too, and he was giving the queen the multitasking clapping exercise. So, she was now having a double trouble. Eventually, the queen was exhausted from the rapid attack, and the main character finish her with a white explosion shooting spree. After that, the queen will still not acknowledge the main character's skill as a professor in the clapping institution. Then the main character decided that he will upgrade his teaching technique. The next day, the main character requested to have a private audience with the queen and the princess. To provide cultured entertainment to the demon lord, the queen and the princess should perform together. So, the main character was requesting both the ladies to do a group activity, because teamwork is necessary. The queen is against this unusual idea. However, their kingdom's safety was the top priority. So, the queen must not be picky with the methods. Then the princess was convincing the queen to participate, because two is better than one in terms of pleasing the demon lord. The main character bowed down to beg for the queen to participate. So, the queen got no choice, but to join in their cultural ritual. Then the princess assured the queen that the main character will provide an enjoyable training session. Meanwhile, the main character was already smiling with intensity, because he just hit the jackpot in lottery. During the night, it was now the time for the group activities. Then the main character requested them to motivate his legendary sword. The blonde lady started unboxing herself, and the queen finds this a very unholy activity, but the queen also uninstalled her equipment to properly participate. Then the blonde lady was possessed by the purification spirit, and the moral boundaries was cut by scissors. The main character was motivated, and he used his legendary sword to give the blonde lady the rod of destruction. Then the blonde lady was suffering from success, so the queen volunteered to take on the blonde lady's suffering. The main character switched target, and the queen received the clapping ritual. Then the queen was creating cultured facial expression, so the blonde lady was complimenting the queen's character development. Meanwhile, the main character decided that he will open fire. The queen don't want to be stuffed with the unholy elixir, but the main character insisted, because it was part of her training to be a better cultured entertainer. Then the main character gave the queen an overflowing creamy milkshake. After that, the queen was shut down, and when the queen woke up, she saw the blonde lady receiving the clapping exercise. The queen awakened her natural instinct from watching that marvelous live performance, so the queen created her own solo performance. Then the blonde lady and the queen were combined together to create a grand sacred sanctuary tower, and the two ladies were competing for the legendary sword. So, the main character decided to travel between the two dungeons, and he was able to give the two ladies the clapping ritual together at the same time. The blonde lady and the queen were reaching the enlightenment stage from this creative technique, and the main character gave them a creamy vanilla milkshake. After that, the cultural activities continued until morning. Then the blonde lady was now very prepared, and she was not afraid if the disaster strikes on their kingdom. Meanwhile, the queen thinks that the disaster that they expect was already in front of them, because the main character's legendary kraken was very aggressive, and it was a wild creature that they cannot resist. That's the end of this cultural anime recap. Moral lesson of the story: if you become too single for a very long time, the isekai services might open its door for you. Anyways, here is your sauce from another world, and make sure that it is limited to the culturally matured people only, and thank you for watching.